Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video. Folks, as the title suggests, in this video I will be going through all of the Explorer notes. Of course, this is going to be the first episode, as there are somewhere around 200 Explorer notes to discover, and as I make my way through them I will be making episodes. At the end, when I have all of them, I will then make a supercut, so that would be one single long video with all of the notes in it. But as I work my way through them, I will have to make it out as episodes. I will of course link previous episodes in future episodes and stuff like that, so that you guys can find them. And of course I will try and timestamp the notes as well. It will be a lot of work, but let's get into it. So here we are with the first location. This is where we're going to be starting at. I will show you exactly where we are in a little bit if you don't know. Before we do get into it, as I said, there are somewhere around 200 Explorer notes to discover on the island. That means it's going to be overall a lot of work, and I'm going to have to break them down into episodes until I have all of the footage to make the supercut. But this is what we're looking at in terms of the amount of Explorer notes. And by the end of the series we should be able to have all of them discovered, at least as far as the island goes. So this is where I am at currently on the map. Without any further ado, we are going to get straight into it, and I will be showing you the map and GPS coordinates constantly, even if the notes are easy to be found. Now, this is a bit of glare in terms of the map, but this is where we want to be. This is a little island close to the red obelisk, and you can see a path, and if we follow up the path we can see this ruin right here. Next to the ruin we have our very first Explorer note. Okay, and I'm going to show you the map and GPS coordinates in a bit, so let's do that. Let's find a place where it doesn't glare, and this is the map. And here are the GPS coordinates as well. The map is behaving a bit funny. So the coordinates are 86.4 by 26.7. Not far from here, towards the north, we can see some trees. We're going to go straight to them, and on the edge of this tree line, we can find another ruin. We don't have to go too deep, we just follow the tree line. So this one again has a ruin. Not all Explorer notes will have ruins, so that is quite important to note. I'm going to pick this one up as well. Alright. And from here we can find, of course, some more notes. This island actually has quite a few notes. The coordinates are 83.8 by 27.7. So from the previous Explorer note, we're just going to make our way towards this section right here. And if we look out there, we can see a giant rock. That rock has another Explorer note. It is actually halfway up the rock, so from the ground, difficult to miss. From the ground, I meant it's easy to miss. But if you are flying, you can spot it quite easily. The coordinates are 86.7 by 24.9. So we'll pick this one up as well. This one is the Raptor Dossier, so it is part of the Helena Explorer notes. Alright. Now, from here we have behind us a hill. I'll show you that in a bit, but here are the GPS coordinates, 86.7 by 24.9. Now behind us, as I said, there's like a hill. Right at the top of the hill you can see from a distance that there is a ruin. So we're gonna make our way towards that ruin, and of course within that ruin there is another Explorer note. The ruin itself is decently visible from quite a distance, so I'll pick this up and then I'll show you the map, location, and GPS coordinates as well. So this is what we have so far, I guess. And here are the GPS coordinates and map location. GPS coordinates are 83.2 by 24.7. Now from here, there is another Explorer note that can be found. and we're gonna have to go down this hill right here, but I'm going to show you exactly how to line yourself up so you can find it quite easy, because it is in the forest. So you can see these tiles on the ground. We're basically going to line ourselves with the tiles on the ground and just make our way downhill, and we should come across a ruin. So keep your eyes peeled just in case, but right in front of us is the ruin that I was on about. You can see it, and of course within that ruin is another Explorer Note. So this one is the Ichthyornis Note. I meant Dossier, so of course it is part of the Helena Explorer Note. This is the map location, and the GPS coordinates are 83.1 by 23.4. Of course, I'm being attacked by everything in this forest. It is a bit dangerous, but not that bad. So these are notes you can pick up quite early on in the game. Now, let me show you exactly what the surrounding area looked like. Of course, it is difficult to see, but we're going to go and pick up a difficult note, or a fairly difficult note, but I'm going to show you a landmark as well. So remember that cliff in front of us. We have these trees on the beach, and we have that cliff in front of us. So we're going to line ourselves with this and start looking towards the west. So southwest kind of area. If we go into the tree line, so yeah, somewhere around southwest, we can start seeing another ruin. I'll just gamma up. And as you can see, this ruin is actually quite small. It's a little pillar, so it can be easily missed. And this is the first Nerva note. So we'll close this off, and I'll show you the map location and GPS coordinates. I'm not sure how much the map location actually helps, but the GPS coordinates are actually quite important. So we've got quite a few right off this island. There are still a couple more to find. I think there's like another 2 at least on this island, if I'm not mistaken. So from this location we'll find the next one, but first off, here's the map location and the GPS coordinates, which are 82.6 by 27.0. Right, so from here on, I'm going to make my way towards the beach, and from there I can then show you what we're looking for. So we're going to go around the island. I'll just calm it down a tad bit. So remember this path between the tree line, this was where the first note was found. We're just going to follow this path without trees, and we're going to take the left path. And as you can see, over here we have a cliff, and if we look down we can see some rocks scattered about, and amongst those rocks there is a ruin, and of course with that ruin comes a note. And this one is the Quetzal Note. It is part of the Helena notes, or dossiers to be more precise, and I'm just going to get some altitude and show you the location as well. But here are the GPS coordinates and the map, and the GPS coordinates are 87.4 by 23.2. So if we gain some altitude, we can see there's a cliff around. We're going to follow that for the next note. This is what the area looks like. It is kind of hidden, and so if we follow this cliff around, right here we can see the structure bulging out of the cliff, and on top of it of course we have the next Explorer Note. So we'll pick this one up. There are, I believe, a total of 4 or 5 of these. I think 5 on the island, correct me if I'm wrong. And so this is what this looks like. It is quite interesting. If you want to read it, please do. It does have quite a lot to offer. I mean, there's like a 360 type of thing that you can look at and read and just kind of explore as well. And so the map location and GPS coordinates are here. You can see the map location, and GPS coordinates are 89.2 by 24.4. And from here on we'll carry on to the next one. So this is where we are at this point in time. If we look towards the north and fly over the island, we come back to that cliff that I mentioned before. This is quite an important landmark. We can see some giant rocks scattered about, a tree in between them, and underneath the tree there is a ruin. And of course with that ruin we have another Helena Explorer Note. So this is where we are on the map, and the GPS coordinates are 78.8 by 27.7. I don't know how much the map actually helps. I guess it gives us a general idea of where I am located. So we'll pick this one up. And again, not far from here, we will have the next Explorer Note. Once again, the GPS coordinate if you have missed it. So from here on, this is the little island with the cliff and the rocks. This is where we were before. We're going to follow this area around the beach basically, and in front of us we can see another cliff forming. We're not going to go down the cliff, down the beach. We're going to go up the cliff, stick to the edge of the cliff, and to the left we will see some bamboo bushes, and in those bamboo bushes will be another ruin. So let me just kind of show you what happened. So basically, if you're coming from the beach, from the previous location, you kind of will be, say, on the ground, say for example here. So we just want to go up the edge of the cliff and kind of keep our eyes peeled to the left. The ruin can be easily missed. It does camouflage quite well, but this is what the ruin looks like. So I'm going to gamma up here so you guys can see. You don't have to go too deep into the forest, but it can be easily missed. And right there is the next Explorer Note. This one is the Woolly Rhino Dossier. And I'll show you the map location and GPS coordinates in a second. Okay, so we got a few animals. I mean, there's a lot more to get by the end of this video. So that's why it's going to take a lot of work and probably going to end up being a very long video. Map location and GPS coordinates 79.2 by 32.2. Alright, let's get on to the next location. Alright, so this is where I am right now. Red Obelisk right there. That's quite an important landmark for this next one. There's this plateau here, and we're going to aim for the Red Obelisk. So I'm on this island right now. We did scout the south of it. These are my GPS coordinates for rough orientation purposes. As I said, we're going to follow the Red Obelisk. We come to this path and the cliff on the left hand side. The path splits into two. There's one that kind of goes towards the Red Obelisk and one that goes towards the edge of this little island. We're going to take the left path, and then again the path splits again into two. So it goes to the left and to the right. Right in the middle there are some bushes, and in those bushes there's also another ruin. You can see it right there. I did kind of miss it a bit, so I'll show you exactly what happened here. So we come down this way, left, and path splits again, goes to the left and to the right. We can see some bamboo bushes, and in between the bamboo bushes we can see a bunch of trees. Follow the path, we'll go towards the trees, and beyond the trees you'll find a ruin that has another Explorer Note. I don't know if I explained that good enough, but I'm trying to break it down as much as I can, because this one is one that kind of gave me a bit of a headache in terms of finding it consistently. I knew where it was, but I was just trying to create some sort of path to it in my mind so I can explain it to you. Same plateau that we were on before. We looked at the south part of the plateau. Now we're going to go towards the north of the plateau. So as you can see, if we look northwards, we can see the redwood forest, we can see the swamp, and where this little island finishes, there is of course a cliff. So that is the swamp that we see. Now this is what we're looking for. These rocks over here are our landmark for the next two Explorer Notes. So this is where I'm at on the map, roughly speaking. Here are my GPS coordinates. We're going to be aiming towards the redwood forest. So we're going to go down this cliff, if you want to call it that, and into the swamp. We're going to keep our eyes peeled towards the left. We can start seeing some ruins. This ruin itself is decent in size, but because of where it's placed and how dense the swamp can be, it can be difficult to spot at times. And of course, as usual, within this ruin, at the other end, there is an Explorer Note. So as you can see, it is a decently sized ruin, but from the top you would not be able to see it. And it does camouflage quite well, to be honest, with the environment. Okay, so we'll close this up again. This is the map location, and here are my GPS coordinates, which are 70.1 by 31.9. Now from this location we're going to go back to where we were before, and that is that little cliff with the rocks. That's why I said remember those rocks, because that is a fairly decent landmark to have for the next Explorer note. So up the cliff, here are the stones. We went down there, and now we're going to turn to the left and just follow the rocks. So just to kind of give you an idea of what the surrounding area looks like, past these rocks we find a very small ruin, and of course within that ruin is another Helena Explorer note. This one is the dossier for the Parasaur. Overall, it is not difficult to find, but can be easily missed. So here we have the map, so you can see where I'm at, and the GPS coordinates, which are 71.4 by 32.1. Alright, so we're going to basically go around this beach. We're going to look down there as well, because there is an Explorer note down there. But we're going to go for the one up here. So you can see there's a rock right there. And if we look to my right, there's another rock. In between them, there is this little like horn-like structure underneath the water. It is a straight cliff downwards. We're going to go towards the center, basically. And you can see that there are some bamboo bushes around a rock. This is what we're looking for. Because in the bamboo bushes, or just past the bamboo bushes, there is another ruin. So let me just show you this actually. So this is a little bit that bulges out from the shoreline, and it is kind of a cliff downwards. It is set between that rock right there and that rock right there. It's kind of perfectly centered, and we'll kind of go towards the north. And if we go towards the north, we come across some rocks. There is a rock with the bamboo bushes. That's what we're looking for. And then past that is the ruin. And in that ruin, we will find the next Explorer note. Alright, now here is my location on the map. So this is the island that we'll be doing. And the coordinates are 81.5 by 44.6. Now remember, I said we were going to come down this beach. We were down there, and we're looking for two cliffs. In between those two cliffs, there's a path. So it's kind of like yeah, they're not big, pronounced cliff. They're not that big. So we're going to go between those two cliffs and just go upwards towards the east, and we will find this pillar right here. And in this pillar, we have the next Explorer note. This is the Sarco Explorer note. I'm going to show you the map and of course the GPS coordinates as well. So 77.8 by 42.9. Now on this island there is a big hill. We're going to go to that hill to the very tippy top. Once again, we have a ruin, but this hill is actually one of the metal stroke crystal nodes, so this should be a fairly common note to find or to know the location of. But I'm going to show you the map location. So we're on the center of the island, and the coordinates are 75.9 by 46.6. Now from here we have several more notes that we can find. So we're gonna look towards the southeast, I'd say. And as you can see, there's this little valley that has a path. We're gonna follow that path all the way down, and as you can see right there's that little cliff that's forming. This one does not have a ruin, so this would be the first note that does not have a ruin. But if we look in between the trees and the rocks, there is a chest that contains another Explorer note. I'm not sure if I explained this good enough, but basically we're looking for like a ground path towards it from the top of the hill. These compies are a bit noisy, and the coordinates are 78.3 by 47.2. So this is where this note can be found. So I'm just going to kind of show you once more how to get down here from the top of the hill, just to kind of show you how to do it on foot, I guess. So this is where that ruin is. We're gonna come around this way, follow this path if you are on foot or on a land dino, and basically stick to the right, and that should bring us right here. And that's kind of how we find it. It's not that complicated, but it can be missed. Once again, at these ruins at the top of the hill, and for this we are going to start heading north. You can see this hump, so we'll just follow this hump all the way down, and we're going to keep our eyes peeled for this section right here where it does start to get all steep. We're going to go to the left, and in this point we'll find this patch of ground that does not have a lot of grass on it. We'll keep on going between these two rocks. So we're going to go into the forest. We don't have to go too deep, but we will find a ruin that is a bit difficult to spot, so it can be missed. But within that ruin, again, we have another explorer note. Here is the map location, and of course here we have the GPS coordinates, which are 71.2 by 47.2. Alright, now we're going to go into the swamp for the next one. From where we are at, you can see the ruin just about. It is starting to get foggy, so it's right there on the side of that island cliff thing. So this is what the ruin looks like. I'm going to show you a distinctive landmark if I can. Well, it's going to get foggy. So from where we were at, you can see this island right there. It's a flat little island with cliffs all around, a good area to build a base, to be honest. And to the right of it is a ruin. The ruin itself is partially out in the open, but it can be missed quite easily as well because people don't really like to come into the swamp area. So this is where I'm at. These are the GPS coordinates. Let's go and have a look at the ruin and find the explorer note. Right here in this corner we have another note. This one is the Therazinosaurus Note. And here we are with the map location. And of course I'm going to show you the GPS coordinates, which are 67.5 by 48.5. There is a bit of glare on the map, and we have a Titan ball that wants to eat us. So now let's get on with the next location. This is where I'm at, roughly speaking. I'm going to show you the surrounding environment. So we're basically following the swamp, and it kind of comes this way. It goes on that way, and there's this river that goes towards the south. And right here in this section there's another explorer note. So we're going to go downwards, and you can see some rocks, you can see some trees. Not deep into the tree line, we can see a ruin. There's a ruin right there. 2 pillars, so nothing too big, nothing too fancy, I guess, for as far as ruins go. And this is the Fiomia Dossier. This is where I'm at basically on the map, just to help you out. And here are the GPS coordinates, which are 72.4 by 53.8. So for this one, of course, we don't have to go too deep into the tree line. It is quite close to the water. Right, so this is where we're at right now. We are actually at the south of that island that we were looking at. This section right here you should be familiar with. There's 3 notes there, but we'll do that in a bit. There's also, of course, a note that goes into the forest. So this is where I'm at this point in time, and just my rough GPS coordinates. So we're basically going to follow the beach all the way around. When it starts going towards like angling out right here, basically we're just going to go straight north, and as you make your way northwards you'll come across these bits of bamboo, and amongst them again we have another ruin, and within that ruin of course you'll have an explorer note. So you'll notice that a lot of the explorer notes and ruins can be hidden quite well by the bamboo. So this is what I'm on about. It does kind of angle out right there. We want to kind of position ourselves here and then just go north, and then kind of keep your eye out for the bamboo. When you see the bamboo, you will find the ruin that has the explorer note. So let me just kind of show you the map. This is where I am at right now. And of course the GPS coordinates are 82.6 by 51.3. Now remember, I told you that that little strip of beach with stones and cliffs does have 3 explorer notes. Right here, between those 2 rocks, there's a big ruin. And if we come this way, there's a explorer note right there. You can see it. It does have a bit of a ruin. It's kind of tiny. But we're going to use that as a point of reference. So if you were to come this way on the ground, we're not going to go to the right. We're going to go to the left and just keep going past this fallen tree. And right here we can see a bit of a ruin, and next to it of course is the next explorer note. This is the Ammonite Dossier. So this is where I'm at right now, and my GPS coordinates are 87.5 by 51.4. Now we're going to go to that ruin right there. The ruin is located between 2 big needle-like cliffs. So of course within it we have the saber-toothed salmon dossier, and then not far from this we have the next one. So let me just show you my GPS coordinates, which are 87.4 by 52.4. So this is basically, we're going to go this way and kind of keep our eye on the right side, and we're going to follow this path. And again we have a very small ruin, or leftover of a ruin, with another explorer note. This one is the Dedon Dossier. So of course I'm going to show you the map location. This is where we're at, and of course GPS coordinates are 88.0 by 53.0. So all of these 3 explorer notes are quite close together. So let me just kind of show you. This is where we were at before. That is where we saw the other explorer notes. We're going to go this way. And as you can see, the river kind of goes up towards the green obelisk. We're going to follow that. There's this island right here. There's nothing on it. But if we follow this river and keep going, we will come across this cliff right there. On the edge of the cliff, we can see another explorer note. Of course, the explorer note is on top of this structure that is just bulging out. So this is where I'm at on the map. And my coordinates are 75.6 by 50.4. Okay, so we're going to start going towards the swamp this time around. And not far into the swamp, we will have another explorer note. You can see it right there. So this one is again one of those that is kind of well camouflaged, to be honest. It's not in any type of deep forest area, but it is very well camouflaged. Just remember from that previous explorer note, we will just go northwards and kind of keep our eye onto the swamp, and we should find it quite easily. This is where I'm at on the map, and the GPS coordinates are 70.6 by 61.1. So this is what the area looks like. Now from here we have another explorer note. So if we kind of have a look at way this way, so you can kind of just see it. It's in the shadows, but if we follow this edge right here, there's a bit of a cliff. All right, so that's where we went. That's where the ruins were. But we follow this cliff. We're gonna go westwards. We can see these rocks, and right here on our left is another ruin, which contains, of course, another explorer note. This is a Nerva explorer note. And this is my location on the map. My GPS coordinates are 72.3 by 59.2. I'm just going to show these a bit, keep them out for you guys so you guys can write it down. Okay, so let me show you where I am. That is where we were before, and we have this beach right here. And if we look further on, we can see Herbivore Island right there, and we can see this forest. In this forest there is, of course, another ruin with an explorer note. So I guess reference point can be that rock right there. We have those rocks in the water, that right there, and it does kind of split with a little island. So basically we want to be between the island and the rock. We're going to make our way up into the forest. It can be a bit messy. We're just going northwards, and eventually we will see the ruin. There is the ruin. Now I will gamma up a bit if I need to, but it is a decently sized ruin. Of course, you're going to have all sorts of creepy crawlies trying to eat you. I'm going to have to learn to probably use leave me alone in the future. But for now, we have the Parasaur Dossier, and this is my location on the map, and the GPS coordinates are 82.2 by 62.9. I guess the best reference point for that is to basically use the rock and the little island and be between them and just go northwards. But we're going to go up this hill right here, right to the tippy top. And so let's find this hill right here. We're going to then point ourselves westwards and make our way down the hill. And that should kind of take us into the direction of the next ruin. This one, of course, is a bit difficult to find because it is in the forest, and I do struggle sometimes with it myself, but we're just keeping ourselves westwards. So right there is the ruin, so it's kind of like a square. So that's where we came from. Yeah, we're gonna basically, you can follow this ridge down the hill if you want, and just kind of go westwards, and you should kind of come across to the ruin that we're looking for. So there's the, yeah, just basically going westwards. This is where we're at. That's the way I find it. Anyways, we do have the GPS coordinates, so that should help us as well. This is the Parasaur Dossier, and these are the GPS coordinates. This is the map. I will put out the GPS coordinates and leave it out for longer, and they are 80.6 by 61.9. This one is a tricky one to find just because of how dense the forest is. Alright, so we have Herbivore Island right there, and then we have this beach right here with lots of stone. There's a river that goes upwards. Basically, we're going to go into the tree line, sort of westwards, and right here we can see the next ruin. It is quite out in the open. It's basically where the let's call it rock quarry, or all those stones meet the forest, so it's at the tree line. Kind of difficult to spot because it's camouflaged with the rocks. Here are the GPS coordinates. It's 80.0 by 67.1. Now, not far from here we have the next explorer note. It is actually on the beach, so we're just going to follow the beach, and we're going to keep our eyes peeled to the left because that is where the next explorer note is. There we go. You can see it. It's in the forest right there. It's difficult to spot because it's so well camouflaged, so I'm going to try and show you some. We got that rock right there. We're basically just starting to go upriver right here. So just where the beach starts turning towards the north, we can see the rock right there. There's the mossy rocks right here. We're going to go between the two mossy rocks, follow this one in the center, keep going upwards. We don't have to go in too deep, but we have a ruin here, and of course the ruin contains another explorer note. Now let's have a look at the map, and of course the GPS coordinates. This is where I'm at on the map. Trying to get the leaves out the way, and the GPS coordinates are 76.6 by 70.6. Again, not far from here we have another explorer note. We're just going to go up the beach, and this time around we again keep our eye on the left. We can see this ruin. It's actually kind of easy to spot because it is in plain sight on the beach. You just follow the beach. As usual, I'll show you the map location if I can get the glare to go away. And of course, I'm also going to show you the GPS coordinates, which are 75.6 by 71.5. Now again, not far from here, but it is a bit tricky to find. We do have another explorer note, so I'm going to show you that as well. Okay, so this is where we found the previous explorer note. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow the shoreline again. We're going to go all the way around these cliffs, so we just continue following the shoreline. This one's a bit iffy to find, and we're going to be looking for something specific here. You can see that there's a path going into the forest. This one again can be difficult to spot and find. So we've got that rock behind us. We're basically going away from the green obelisk towards the south, and you can see rock formations and rocks on both sides of the path. And yeah, we're gonna basically head east up this path past the mossy rock. We can see a cliff forming on the side and a rock on the left side, and over there we can see some bamboos, and past those bamboos we have a very well concealed ruin, and in that ruin we have another explorer note. So I'm going to show you the map location, and then we will follow that up with the GPS coordinates, which are 76.4 by 68.1. Alright, so this is where we were before. This is where we found the last explorer note. We're going to continue going southwards, southwestwards, southwest. Not too far though, on this other island right here. You can see those trees right there. That's what we're looking for. And there's like a little path going upwards. We have like a little cliff right here in the beach. But we're going to go towards those trees that I showed you before. And not far from the beach, there is another ruin. It is a bit hidden. You can barely see it. It's right there. So it's kind of well concealed between rocks and trees. But this is another explorer note that we can pick up. This is a Rockwell record. It's number 25. This is where I'm at on the map. And the GPS coordinates are 74.9 by 65.5. Okay, so this is where we are at right now. Let me kind of just get some altitude. So we have the river that splits into a Y type of structure. This is where we were before, basically, where we found the previous note. And we're going to go on the other side, where it basically goes into the swamp. So basically the river kind of goes around this way, goes into the swampy area. We're not going into the swamp, we're going to go onto the beach. Again, we have another path, and the path seems to split into like a Y, so we got a left and right. We're going to go straight down the middle, or straight up the middle, because we're going upwards. And not far from the beach we have this single pillar right here with an explorer note right next to it. And this is the Ichthyornis Dossier, and this is where I'm at right now. And of course the GPS coordinates are 72.8 by 64.4. Okay, so this is where I am right now. There's basically a river that splits into two sections. They go towards the south, and right there's that path of clearance, basically, where there's no trees. Right down below, basically, I mean, this is where we want to be. I'm going to use the GPS coordinates to explain this one. So this is the cliff that we went around. There's this path that's kind of empty of trees. This is where we found the previous explorer note right now. If we look downwards, we can see a bit of a cliff. And if we're going to go downwards into the tree, so we're going to go towards the ground right here. There is another little ruin with an explorer note. This one is kind of difficult to explain how to get to, so obviously just keep your eyes peeled on my GPS. Oh god, there's a raptor. Let me just kind of reposition myself. So this is where I'm at on the island. This one's one of the harder ones to find because of where it's located. The coordinates are 68.1 by 67.5. Just basically use the GPS coordinates and try and come from the air. It does make life that much easier. Now, that is it for this first episode. I have not counted exactly how many I will have covered. However, there are many more to come, and this is just only a small section of all of the Explorer notes. I will cover all of them. So, when I do finish that video, of course, I will put it in one extended cut. In the meantime, I'm just going to release sections of this entire project as I make my way through it. If you guys enjoyed it and found it useful and informative, please don't forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And of course, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you want me to cover the other main DLCs. If you want me to do that, I will look into it and I will try and work my way through them so that eventually I can show off all of the Explorer notes on all DLCs. Until next time, of course, stay safe, folks.